Is it crooked?
Dad. I think that side might need to go down
That's
a
that thing
little.
too. This happens every single time.
Just a tad bit.
Every single time. Better?
Yeah.
Hello. This is coming out on Christmas Eve. Happy Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas. I don't know if any of you will listen to this on Christmas Eve, but if you do,
This is what we're doing.
this is the Witches, Magic, Murder, and Mystery podcast.
And I'm Karen.
And I'm Megan. And we've got a double episode. Yay!
That's all we do for the holidays.
Except we're not doing it for New Year's Eve.
We can't do that for New Year's. We got a lot going on.
We're
Megan and I are both going out of town.
Yeah. So we're not going to do a double episode for New Year's Eve, but that's okay.
It's fine.
I'm saying that's okay to us. Like,
Yeah.
it's okay.
It's okay.
It's fine.
I'm having like anxiety about it already. My insides.
I don't
My
like,
mouth is getting dry.
but we will have an episode,
Yeah.
just not a double one.
No.
Yeah. So we have, Kara has a murder,
Murder.
and I have a witch.
Yes. It's a actual like killing spree.
Oh, like a Christmas killing spree?
Yeah.
Wow. This is what we choose to do, you know?
Yeah.
On purpose. We learn all these things.
Yeah.
And you guys are right here with us. Welcome.
Yeah.
You're our people.
So usually like I like to go into like the backstory of all these victims, but I'm just gonna start off like right at it. It's just I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. Okay, so yeah. So Doyle Burke, a Dayton homicide detective, was quoted saying, "It will never be forgotten by the public because it was so heinous.
Heinous. It's so like a penitentiary.
It's so heinous and so sinister, even in the light of the things that are going on today. He's never going to forget it."
Oh, geez.
So, these all started as like petty robberies. One was over a plaid coat, a pair of sneakers, and $44. And then they escalated into what they considered joy killings.
Joy killings. Oh,
Megan, we joyfully eat Reese's Christmas trees.
that's true.
I wouldn't say that a killing is joyful.
No. God. That's so...
No, they one of the detective was quoted saying they were just killing people randomly for nothing, literally nothing. There was not even a motive in the cases. It was just for fun.
How many people?
Oh, you just wait.
Okay.
He said they were like a shark. Once they tasted blood, they couldn't stop. There were 4 people convicted of the killings. They were part of a squad called Downtown Posse. They spent most of their days burning money on the courthouse plaza.
Downtown Posse.
Downtown Posse, Megan. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. So December 24th, 1992, Christmas Eve, super early. Laura Taylor was 16, and her boyfriend, Marvelous.
Wait, no. Marvelous was his name? Do you think that's what his mom named him? Marvelous?
Is it Marvelous?
It's Marvallous.
Help
So
us.
it's not spelled like marvelous, but it's marvelous, right?
Help us, guys.
Marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't
Marvelous.
know. Make it not be marvelous. That's all I really want.
Anyways, he was 19. They put in play a plan to rob a man named Taylor. And they figured he would just pay him for 6. They were just like, you know what? We're just going to try to rob him. Let's see if he'll have sex and pay us. That's fine.
His name's not Taylor. Taylor's the girl.
Right? Yeah, Taylor.
Yeah. So Taylor
Uh-huh.
is the girl whose boyfriend was marvelous.
He was marvelous, and he convinced Taylor that she needed to rob a man and
Yeah.
get him to sleep with her so she'd pay for it. Anyways, she called Joseph Wilkerson, 34, and promised him an orgy.
She's 16, guys. Just God.
And then another part of the plan, they recruited a 20-year-old Heather Nicole Matthews, she'd just been released from prison a few months earlier.
For what? Do we know?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
They said, Taylor said Burke was tough as nails. Tough as nails. And the intellectual leader of the group, she also proved capable of murder.
Who's Burke? Burke's the detective.
Yeah, the detective.
Yeah. So
Taylor, the 16-year-old, was the ringleader of the downtown posse.
Oh, God.
He said she was tough as nails.
You know, Lauren will be 16 next year. I'm just
Tough
trying
as nails.
to imagine Lauren being like, no. Okay.
So they bound Wilkerson to a headboard in his bedroom with electrical cords, and they went through the house, found a .32 caliber Derringer, and Keene used that to shoot Wilkerson in the chest. And then Matthews later testified at her trial in 1993 that Taylor put a .25 caliber weapon to Wilkerson's head and shot him a second time. So then they went through his house, stole his car, used it to hunt for more victims. They went to Neal Avenue, and they now included Taylor's the Matthews one, right? Is that Laura?
No, Heather.
No, Heather. Yeah. There's a lot of people.
There are.
Oh my
The whole
God.
posse.
Yeah. So they contacted Matthews' 17-year-old boyfriend, DeMarcus Maurice Smith. Found 18-year-old Danita Gullett talking on a payphone. Danita, a senior at Patterson Cooperative High School, and the mother of a 2-year-old, was a complete stranger to these people. They had no clue who she was.
She just happened to be there.
Yep. She was shot for her Fila tennis shoes.
Oh, God.
What? Why? Yeah.
Because these people are idiots.
Mm-hmm. The police department said they found her outside the telephone booth with 5 gunshot wounds.
For her Fila tennis shoes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, you could have just robbed her. You didn't have to kill her.
Yeah, there were a lot of you.
Not that robbing's better, but...
Yeah. They found the casings, like, next to her body. So then the investigator said, well, these are going to help us later, like, tie these events together. Because they were so just, like, senseless and random. But for some reason, like, they just left the casings everywhere. Idiots. Okay. They also took her coat and her backpack, which contained 50 cents. Mm-hmm. So then they returned to the deceased man's house and stayed the night.
It doesn't say anything about them being on drugs or anything. I'm just like, what?
Yeah.
They just all three together decided this was a good idea, and nobody thought, maybe not.
Yep.
Maybe we should stop.
Yeah. No. They didn't, because when they got back to his house, the deceased's house that night, they were like, you know what, let's just take this Christmas Eve up a notch and try to find another victim. So Matthew's ex-boyfriend, Jeffrey Wright, they were like, let's do this. Let's do this. So Smith, one of the people with him, put 4 bullets into Wright's legs, according to the police. But he said that he escaped to a neighbor's house and survived.
Oh.
Yeah. They said that the Wilkersons' killing gave them a base of operation and a vehicle. They could have stopped by just gagging him, but I don't think that was ever in their game plan.
Wow.
Yeah. Ugh. So December 25th, 1992, Christmas Day, 16-year-old Taylor coaxed her boyfriend, Richmond Maddox, who was 19, from his parents' home, and they left in his car, and it just moved. So the others followed behind in that other man's car. Yeah. So they were just, like, super suspicious about cars that were, like, following them. And Maddox was just like, I don't know that this is, like, no, I feel like something's going on. So he just, like, accelerated and was, like, freaking out. And then Taylor put the gun to his right temple and shot him.
While he's driving?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
How did that work out?
She bailed out of the car before it crashed onto Benton Avenue. Yeah. Ex-boyfriend.
What's your plan here?
Like, she just climbs into his car. Ex-boyfriend gets shot in the head, and so she goes back and gets in the deceased's car that was trailing him, like following him, so she could get away.
She's just lost her mind.
Yeah.
This is all the same night?
Well,
no, it's Christmas Day.
morning now. The detective said that spree killers are exceedingly violent, often choose their victims at random and kill for the enjoyment of it. She's 16 on a killing spree.
Terrifying.
Christmas killing spree. They said while there were multiple victims, there are more victims. He points out it's the family's members and friends that will never outlive this.
Oh my God.
I know. Sarah Abram was a mother of 3. She'd gotten a hand-drawn picture from her daughter for Christmas, and a day later she became the 4th victim of this Christmas posse.
Oh no.
December 26, 1992, Abraham was behind the counter at a short-stop mini market, and it was a little family-owned grocery. It was on West 5th Street, and 16-year-old Taylor decided to go into the space. Minutes later, the rest of the group came in, and they shot poor Sarah twice in the head. And they left similar shell casings on the ground next to her body. There was a witness in the store, and they were shot in the hand and the stomach, but they survived. Whew.
Yeah.
This time they stole $44 instead of 50 cents.
Yeah, the 50 cents earlier is just terrible.
Yeah, so they continued to move around the city. They started switching out license plates from stolen vehicle to stolen vehicle, so police wouldn't recognize the plate as listed as stolen. So then they started getting nervous, thinking that you might have a snitch in this group. Somebody's got a snitch on us. Yep. So Taylor, Keene, Matthews, and Smith were in the group. Turned on 2 of their own. On the witness stand, Matthews said the group believed Wendy Cottrell, 16, and Marvin Washington, 18, could implicate them on their previous deaths. So they were like, our friend group is getting a little fishy here. I think somebody's going to say something.
Oh my God.
So after they killed Sarah, they picked up Wendy and Marvin, and they got some beer and wine, and then Keene was like, you know what? I gotta go pee. I'm gonna pull into this gravel yard over here, and I'm gonna pee real quick. So Smith and Keene ordered Wendy and Marvin out of the car, marched them behind a large pile of dirt, and killed them. They didn't find these bodies until the killers were in custody.
Wow.
Yeah. So December 26, 1992, these were the 5th and 6th victims.
This is the same day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of this rampage. It was just insane.
So they just started with this one guy, the guy that she had tried to get to have sex with her.
Yeah. For money.
And from there, it's like once they killed him.
They couldn't stop.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad. Like, so bad. So then it said a woman airing up her tires at Salem Avenue gas station could have been the 7th, but she ran away when her Dodge Shadow was stolen at gunpoint. So they just took her car. So
they said her dog's shadow. And I was like,
how do you steal a dog's
what's
shadow?
happening?
How do you steal a dog's shadow? No, her Dodge.
I got it.
I don't know what that looks like.
That makes a lot more sense.
Look like? I don't know.
So where did this happen? What city are we in?
Is it Ohio? Dayton. Yeah, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah. So, she was just like, I don't feel like I'm going to turn this in. But then the police said 72 hours after the first killing.
Why wouldn't she turn it in? Her car got stolen.
Yeah, she's running for her life. So 72 hours after the first killing, Dayton Police Sergeant John Huber saw a suspicious vehicle similar to this Dodge Shadow so maybe she did say something about it, but it just doesn't say in here. So he was just like, I'm going to check this out. He called in a plate check. It didn't come back to a Dodge Shadow, so it was like bad plate on it or whatever.
Yeah.
So he's like, guys, we got a problem here. Stolen vehicle. So they swarmed the car. And they said, after they like this crazy killing spree, they were just like, we thought we were going down with a gunfight. They said they were fine. Like, just, yeah. Said Smith ran into a nearby house, but was captured. While the other three, Keene, Matthews, and Taylor, were taken into custody without any issues. They were just like, yep, we're here.
They didn't even fight it after all of that? Why?
I don't know.
That's so weird.
Yeah. Huber, who's now the director of public safety for Sinclair Community College, said afterwards he learned that Taylor had ordered Keene to shoot Huber, but for some reason he didn't.
Taylor had ordered. Like,
Yeah.
she's 16.
And she said,
It's
shoot
like
the cop.
she's a mob boss or something.
Shoot the cop. And he wouldn't. The guy wouldn't. They said, Huber said, it was a tragic crime at Christmas, a tough time of year. It's sad that we couldn't have gotten to them sooner. There was no rhyme or reason. There was no pattern. So yeah, I mean, they probably were finding all these deceased bodies and they had no idea, like none of them
I mean, when it's
connected.
completely random like that, how do you even
Yeah.
begin to investigate? It would take a while.
Burke, who includes the Christmas killing in a book he's writing about his career, said the case exemplifies how homicide squads and uniformed officers working together can solve even the most difficult crimes. This is one of the cases I'm most proud of. Taylor and Matthews are serving life sentences for murder at the Ohio Reformatory for Women in Marysville, while Smith is serving a life murder sentence in Mansfield Correctional Institute. July 21st, 2009, Keene, who was convicted on 5 of the killings, was executed by lethal injection in the Southern Ohio Correctional Facility in Lucasville.
Wow.
He had no last words.
I mean, she was 16.
Yeah.
They're all young, though, because Heather was 20.
Yeah. 18, 19, yeah.
And it's just like, your life is over.
Completely
Why?
over.
Just because one night you freaking lost your mind?
Completely. Over the span of, 3 days? 24th? Yeah.
I'd be so, like, I'm so curious about, I don't know, was she ever in trouble before then?
Yeah.
Like, what's her story?
I don't know. I didn't look that far into it because I was just like,
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay.
Christmas time, guys. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Let's take a quick commercial break,
Uh-huh.
and then we'll come back for
Is it an anger ad?
a witch story. I mean, it might be an anchor ad. Can you look up on your thing?
Sure can.
I need to know how to pronounce Perchta.
Perch it.
No. It's German.
Oh.
And if you're watching the YouTube video right now, you are getting proof, evidence that I'm trying. I think it's like
Perch.
We gotta look it up on YouTube, I'm guessing.
TA.
Yeah. Okay, here, play this one. Let's listen to an ad first, though. Anchor ad, Anchor, you should get Anchor, blah, 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 Anchor. Skip ad.
Welcome, horror family. In my previous video, I did a narrative on the obscure character Hans Trapp, the boogeyman of Christmas.
Stop it.
I mentioned in that video the name of an ancient folklore that many may be unfamiliar with, Frau Perchta.
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 That seems way too easy, right? Perchta.
Frau Perchta.
Okay, well, I hope that person's correct, because that's what we're going with, friends.
That's the only one we clicked on. Frau Perchta.
Okay, hello, welcome back from
Hi,
the
welcome
commercial
back.
break.
Commercial
We hope that you enjoyed that ad
ad
that you have never heard before.
in your life. You're welcome. I hope you join us.
Okay, last year we told you about 2 Christmas witches.
Yeah, we did.
Le Befana of Italy and Grilla of Iceland. So my gift to you this holiday season is another Christmas witch.
I should have done Krampus instead of Murder. I'm sorry, guys.
Krampus goes along
do that
with
next year.
this, actually.
Does it?
Yeah. She's like, well, you'll see.
Perfect.
This one was brought to my attention in our Facebook group. Sarah posted about it, and she was like, would you gals do an episode on this witch, pretty please? She sounds fabulous.
Perfect.
And Kara, so I'm about to introduce you to Frau Perchta of Germany. We just looked her up and tried to figure out how to say it. And YouTube said Perchta.
Are we recording? Yeah, we are. Okay. I had to look down first. I was like, wait a second. I just see numbers. Okay.
Here it is. Okay.
We're going to
move it this way, though. All right.
Okay.
So, yeah, YouTube says Perchta. I'm not positive.
We just Googled, y'all. I don't know.
Okay. So, as Kara just mentioned, we've all probably heard of Krampus.
Yep.
A horned figure who, during the Christmas season, scares children who have misbehaved. And the way the legend is, Krampus and St. Nicholas visit children on the 5th of December, that night. Mm-hmm. And the well-behaved children get gifts from St. Nick, like oranges, dried fruit, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But the naughty kids are punished with birch rods by Krampus. So, dried fruit, or you get the crap beat out of you by a horned demon.
Yeah.
Germany's terrifying.
It is.
So,
but they have the best Christmas markets. I want to go so bad.
They also make good beer, I hear.
Yeah. Cheese and good
Frau
food.
Perchta. Perchta. She's a friend of Krampus. Okay.
Perfect.
She is half woman, half demon. Uh-oh. Pushed the wrong thing.
Is this Janet?
Queen of witches.
Queen of witches.
She's a half woman, half demon alpine monster who roams the hillside during the 12 nights between Christmas and Epiphany.
Oh, what?
Along with her followers, unbaptized children known as Perchten.
Oh, man.
She is usually depicted as an old lady with a beaked nose made of iron, dressed in rags, carrying a long knife under her skirt. We'll get to that in a minute.
Oh, okay.
One of Perchta's most unusual traits is that one of her feet is shaped like a goose or swan's foot. Don't know. A common interpretation.
Just one foot?
Just one. And they take that and they interpret that as she's not human. She's like an otherworldly power. The following comes from boneandsickle.com, which is also a podcast. A particularly good representation of Perchta is a woodcut from 1750. It identifies her, I forgot to look this one up, as the Bootsen birched, maybe? It's the word Bootston comes from the word for boogeyman. Mm. The woodcut depicts a crone-like character with dripping, warty nose. A dripping nose. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's all I need. That's terrible. I don't care about any of the rest of it. She's carrying a basket filled with screaming children, all girls, on her back.
That's a big basket.
She stands before the open door of a house where more girls are screaming, and she's holding this pronged cane, and as well as a distaff, which is the stick used to hold fibers that will be spun into wool or flax on a spinning wheel. Mm-hmm. So whenever I talk about spinning in this episode, I'm talking about
we're not on bicycles.
It's the thing that Sleeping Beauty pricked her finger on. So the importance of this woodcut illustration is that it emphasizes Perchta's connection to spinning and to the females of the household responsible for the spinning. Okay. She is said to resemble the Scandinavian goddess Frigga.
Freya.
Yep.
No, I don't know.
And like her, Perchta is obsessed with spinning. So that's like her thing. All right. So Perchta's goal is to make sure local customs are being upheld. A long, long time ago, this meant no weaving during the holiday. And you must feast with enthusiasm, which we'd be very good at.
Oh, we're so good at that.
So the rule was you had to have all your flax spun by Epiphany, January 6th. Mm-hmm. All girls had this allotted amount of flax for the year, and you had to complete your weaving before the end of the Christmas season. Because
was Rumpelstiltskin involved in this?
I don't think so. Okay. At the end of the Christmas season, that's when the big upright looms were supposed to go up. And if you didn't have all your flax spun into thread, then you messed up the whole process. Mm-hmm. So this is what she was very concerned with. All right. It was also really, really, listen, she likes order. It was really, really important to Perchta that you do not do any weaving on her feast day. So you had to be finished with everything up until that day. Speaking of that feast, you also weren't allowed to eat anything on the night of her feast except for her favorite meal.
Which was Megan?
Fish and gruel. I had to look up what gruel was because fish, I was already like, no. Gruel is a food consisting of some type of cereal, such as ground oats, wheat, rye, or rice, heated or boiled in water or milk. It's a thinner version of porridge, and it more often had to be drank rather than eaten.
You need that. You need that. Porridge is coming for me.
And wait till you hear what she's going to do to you when she finds
She's
you.
going to do something to me?
Oh, she is. In addition to all of that, Perchta was pretty obsessed with domestic neatness. Your house better be clean. So here's how it works. You go to sleep on the night of January 6th.
Terrified. Shaking.
Perchta enters your house and just judges the crap out of you. Did you finish all your weaving before the holidays? Did you enjoy your feast? Did you leave out some of her favorite porridge for her?
You had no time to do this because you're trying to finish your weaving.
Is your house neat enough?
Heck no.
If she judges all of this and is displeased,
3 displeases later.
Perchta would rip open your stomach and disembowel you. And then she would stuff the empty cavity with like stones and sticks and rocks and straw and just trash. And then she'd stitch you up and move along.
You have some abdominal discomfort.
As the years passed and more peasant women entered the workforce, so like they couldn't devote all their time to the weaving.
Did Perchta give him a little bit of a break?
Well, she just started at that point focusing less on the local customs and more on like keeping the house clean and punishing laziness. Except on feast day when you couldn't
do anything.
She was super mad at you if you worked on feast day. So it's basically like you had to work really, really hard all the time and never be lazy,
Right.
except for the holidays when you weren't allowed to
take a
work.
break.
And you better sit down and relax.
I feel like the holidays are
You
worse
better
for
eat
us.
that food.
We're screwed.
Oh, God. The holidays are way more
screwed.
stressful. Oh, and like you had to enjoy that meal with the other people in your community.
With vigor.
You couldn't be an introvert. Like, it's like I would have to go out and be like, I'm really happy to be
This is
here.
the best time, guys.
I'm going to drink
Cheers
my
to all.
gruel and this. I'm so happy, you guys. I love all of you.
This fish and grill is great.
So be a hard worker and be friendly or die, basically.
I choose death.
Also, if you were good in Perchta's eyes, if you didn't get your belly slit open, you would instead get a small silver coin. So
That's it.
disembowelment or a dime. That's it.
I choose death.
There's no in
I
between.
choose death.
Folklorist John B. Smith called Perchta a sinister figure who
Well, yeah.
punished the slovenly, the idle, the greedy, the inquisitive. There's one story where a farmhand spies on her. Like he hid in a stove, which apparently must have been a really big stove, because he wanted to try and catch a glimpse of her.
Was he in Baba Yaga's?
I don't think so. And then she knew he was in there. So when he came out of the stove, he couldn't see anymore. He was blind. So like, don't bother Perchta. Just don't bother her. Just leave her alone.
Yeah.
You don't have time to be bothering her. You got to be doing your weaving
Yeah.
and you got to be cleaning your house.
Feasting?
So just behave and do your work. Don't do anything that might irritate her.
And just move along.
I ran across one very cute little statement that said she is especially intolerant of lying children. One article said that lying children got their tongues scraped with glass. Another article said they got their eyes scraped out with glass. Either way, it seems... Kara's face. Either way, it just doesn't seem... Just don't.
Just be good.
Author Stephen Morris wrote that his favorite story...
Not Stephen Ray Morris from
No.
my favorite murder.
Is when she intrudes on a wedding reception she was not invited to attend. She curses the bride and the groom and the whole wedding party by transforming them into wolves. Yeah. So one of the interesting things about Perchta is she seems to have gone through some sort of transformation over the years. Aside from being this scary belly-slitting monster, she's also known as Grandmother Winter,
Oh.
the youthful, beautiful woman who makes snow. The name Perchta means shining one. And it's like she started out as this beautiful pagan goddess, And then when Christianity
Transformed
took
into a
over,
duck.
the lore about
Beast.
her made her into this scary hag. And I'm going to go more into that in a few minutes. It's really actually pretty interesting. So remember that goose foot she has?
Yeah.
So it can be symbolic of her ability to shapeshift into animals.
Well, she didn't completely shapeshift though.
Just the foot.
Just
It's like in Moana
she's
when he's like trying real hard.
just imagine like that foot on you.
Like many goddesses, Perchta has this duality of being both beautiful and kind, as well as ugly and vindictive.
Don't we all?
Her evil and scary aspects have been greatly exaggerated in time, and her kind and nurturing aspect has been all but forgotten.
Man.
I know, but wait, it's like I said, it's pretty interesting when we get into her history. But just a second.
Just hold.
This is just one random note that I couldn't find anything else on, but I had to tell you. There are many anthropologists who believe that Perchta's nurturing aspect, her association as a guardian of children, and her connection to geese may have ultimately been the inspiration behind Mother Goose.
Gather round, children. Let Mommy Goose tell you a story.
She pulls. Okay, let's talk about her duality. The the beautiful young woman and the scary old crone, all that, and the kind and the mean. Okay, so when you really dig into the history of Perchta, here's what you find. In Germanic pagan tradition, the goddess Berchta or Bertha protected women and children. Berchta was known as the Lady in White or the White Lady, and she watched over the forests and all of the wildlife in them. She was also the spirit guide who led the dead into their afterlife, and her duty was taking care of children who died in infancy. So that's why they were unbaptized children. So because of this thing where she led people into their afterlife, taking care of souls in that space between life and death, she was considered the goddess of in-between places. So this whole in-between thing lends itself to that duality we talked about. Is she the white lady grandmother of winter or the monstrous old crone belly slitter?
Yeah.
She's like neither and both. You know, she's just right there. She can kind of go either way. So during the 6th century, the Catholic Church insisted the pagan practices stop. But women loved Berchta. She was their guardian, and she was their goddess, and they would leave out offerings of that porridge for her. They didn't want to give up this goddess who they felt like protected them and looked after their children.
Yeah.
So the church started actively speaking against Berchta, saying that people were praying to her instead of praying to the Virgin Mary. By the 12th century, the church had renamed Berchta Perchta, and they said that the Perchten, which had previously been known as children she cared for, are actually frightening monsters.
Oh, little
And
imps.
Perchta was their leader. Yeah. So according to the lore now, they're like, she roams the hillside with her Perchten, which they're saying are these little monsters.
That's her taking the...
So the image of the beautiful white goddess was transformed into one of an ugly crone with an iron face and a hook nose, who carried a knife in her skirts to slit the bellies of anyone who crossed her. Essentially, the church turned her into a female Krampus.
Yeah, that's
Basically.
exactly what,
So despite all this, people kept up their worship. I think it's just that they remembered, and I imagine it was passed down. Even if they had forgotten the specifics, they knew that she wasn't always this.
Yeah.
So like other Christmas witches we've discussed, Perchta is a visible part of Christmas festivities in Austria and elsewhere. There's this thing called Perchtenlauf, which is
perfect.
I did not just say that like I meant it. Which is basically a parade full of noise-making fireworks and people, mostly men, dressed as scary beasts with large horns. Remember how her followers are called Perchten? The participants in these processionals are also called Perchten.
Oh, okay.
And they serve to frighten away the cold, evil spirits of winter by out-uglying them. I love that, out-uglying.
Wow.
I guess that's basically
That
every
sounds
single
fun.
fight. I'm going to out-ugly you
I'm going to out-ugly
until
you.
I win. I'm going to be uglier than you
This is amazing.
until I win.
I love it.
Today in Austria, particularly Salzburg, where she is said to wander through a castle that starts with an H. In the dead of night. The Perchton are still a traditional part of holidays and festivals, and the wooden animal masks made for the festivals are today called Perchton.
Oh.
So, one of the articles I read interviewed a woman named Rebecca Baer, a forager witch and scholar of Appalachian folklore and magic.
Oh, I want to meet this person.
I know, me too. She feels a strong connection to Perchta. She talked about some of her own traditions that she observes every year. She marks the Epiphany with one of Perchta's favorite meals. I personally enjoy leaving out a meal of oat gruel and herring for her on the 6th of January.
I can't do it.
And having some for myself in her honor. It smells bad. Don't you think it smells bad? She says, I also enjoy creating art and imagery of her to honor her so she does not become a forgotten goddess.
Oh, that's really cool.
Today, Perchta is portrayed as a rewarder of the generous and the punisher of the bad, particularly lying children. Which, as long as you say it like that, really vaguely, that sounds just like Santa Claus too.
Exactly. You're going to get coal if you're naughty.
Yep. Except Perchta will
slice your innards.
Disembowel you.
And give you pebbles like a
Merry
penguin.
Christmas. Happy Christmas, everybody.
Murder and disembowelment.
But I do really love
I love that story.
The origin and how she went from this beautiful thing to now she's this scary thing.
Yeah.
All because she didn't line up with what the Catholic Church wanted. Which you have to wonder if it's just because the Catholic Church needed money. And if you didn't worship what they wanted, they needed,
Yeah, like how thou shalt have no other gods before me. But then you worship Mother Mary and all these saints. And
I'm not Catholic, so I don't understand how it
I don't
works.
understand it either.
But I always think it's interesting how the church comes in and
changes the narrative.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess that's part of the church's mission of educating, maybe, but I don't know. I hate losing the local folklore of the time.
Yeah.
Particularly if it's like this, where it's like, it's not just losing the folklore,
Right.
They changed
it completely. Yeah.
Like, it's okay, I guess, if you're saying in the name of education and spreading what you believe, you need to replace it, but to completely
change it.
Be like this is not your protector. She's actually a demon belly slitting monster.
Yeah.
That I think is
how dare you give her our
so sad. Yeah.
Dead babies.
Like, in order to convince you to follow what we want you to follow, we're going to tell you.
Make her look the worst that she possibly can.
Yeah. You can't just rely on the power of your word. So it's interesting to think about.
That is.
So everybody go home and make some fish and some gruel.
I do love seafood, but not
January 6th. So you've all got a week's.
Will we be here?
2 weeks. We'll be back with it. Okay. We're not going out of town together.
I'm going to order us a cake in the shape of fish and gruel.
Oh, also, no. I don't want to. Can you imagine a fish-shaped cake?
Stop it.
It'd be like one of those cakes that's made to look like something else. We mentioned this on our Patreon episode, but I wanted to mention it here too.
Oh my gosh.
We got the best voicemail. First off, I love all the voicemails. It's so fun to hear your all's voices.
So you can go on Anchor and leave us voicemails. I mean, you can leave us voicemails.
If you download the Anchor app, it'll let you. You can listen to our podcast.
Anchor.fm
to get started.
No, but I mean, you can leave one on our Instagram too, but it's so fun on Anchor because.
So we got one from Paul who had suggested Bessie
Dunlop.
Yes. The witch episode from a few weeks ago. And Paul is Scottish and he has obviously a Scottish accent and obviously a man. Incredible. And so it starts recording and he's like, "Hi, this is Rachel."
I love it so much.
This is the best. I've had so many people listen to it because I was like, this is why our listeners are the best.
Oh yeah.
ones.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So
like we love our listeners.
You are so freaking funny. I swear you're the funniest people and I love it so much.
Yes.
So if you're not already in our Facebook group, please join the Facebook group because that's how we get to know you the best.
Yeah.
And we're excited for the new year.
Oh my gosh, we've got so many things coming, guys.
We've got some fun Patreon stuff. We're adding some Patreon stuff as we've told you. We'll be posting about that soon. And I have some plans for like I know like the past month or so, I haven't been able to be very active in the Facebook group.
I know.
Just
yeah.
life.
Life is
But
crazy.
I have some exciting plans of like things I want to do in there next year. So
Yeah.
if you're not in there, you should join. And that's all. I hope you guys have a great holiday, whatever you do.
Yeah, whatever
holiday you celebrate.
Celebrate or don't
if
celebrate.
any this time of year. Yeah.
Yeah.
We appreciate you being here with us.
Yeah.
So we love you.
So much.
If you need to contact us, it's all in the show notes.
It really is.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Do we need 10 seconds of silence?
Oh, yeah.
I can't do it anymore.